have a wedding today, which is something that is growing more and more common as you have, so I was just checking my watch, as you have like midweek weddings. So today I'm actually at Hedosr House, which is in Bucks, so Buckinghamshire, which is like one of my favorite venues to go to. It is so beautiful. So I thought I'd take you along on the day with me to enjoy the beautiful greenery. It's very autumnal today, like it's soggy on the ground and it's grey and it's nice and cozy, although I'm in like a long sleeve, or no, sorry, a short sleeve, but I'm on a sweater vest. I love a good sweater vest and t-shirt combination because you're warm but you're not too cold. So what I'm gonna do today is I have wedding today and tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm at Northman. So this is like a normal type of day when you are kind of doing your weddings for next week. Like you're having to like prepare different little bits, but you're also doing wedding for today and then you're also prepping a wedding for tomorrow. So you're kind of doing everything in tandem. So I thought it would be best to show you what a day like this normally looks like. So I'm gonna start off, the cake is all done. So normally I try, whenever I'm like rounding off the edges, not rounding off the edges, but whenever I'm like working on, let me actually just talk to you whilst I clean my turntable. There's some things that I like to do like as a, what can you say? Some things I like to do like as a process. So if I'm like trimming off the tops of my cakes, I really prefer to do them and then dowel the cakes as well, all at the same time, because it's just so much easier to do it like that. So everything's doweled. Now for the cake for tomorrow, they have wafer paper sales. So I think I have like a good amount of sales from last time, but I do need to do some rice paper sales. I prefer those. So the color scheme tomorrow, oh, that just reminds me, I need to get flowers as well for tomorrow. They've gone for like blue, pink and silver for that wedding. So I need to get those. I'm actually going to write a list. Let me write a list for the flowers that I need. I find that whenever I am going to the florist, I always normally write everything down way beforehand, but it's always so helpful for me to be able to see like physically what I need, because going to the florist is always overwhelming. So I need some blues. Now with blue flowers, this is a very good top tip. A lot of blue flowers are toxic. So you have hydrangeas, delphinium, those are like the two big heavy hitters for the blue flowers. So those are toxic. So because of that, I'm probably gonna add some blue touches on the cake itself. So this is for tomorrow. So I need some pinks. Pinks is fine. Again, hydrangeas are very toxic. I will do a video on how I make sure my cakes are nice and safe to put in cakes. My flowers are nice and safe to put in cakes. So I need blue, pink, I need some whites, and then I need some greenery. Now the greenery is silver, not the greenery, but like the accent colors are silver. So what I really like to do is I love to use ruscus, and then you'll see me kind of spray paint this because I just think it makes it look so good, so good. So I will spray paint the ruscus. Let me show you now actually. So this is like my box of goodies for sprinkles and edible leaf or gold leaf, but I really like these. These are like a peony silver. I have quite a couple of these in gold, but I really like these in silver. It's just so much easier than like painting it. I get like a cake box. Again, I'll show you later how I spray paint, but it's a really nice little, so much easier, so much quicker and so much easier. It's a little bit early in the morning. So we've got blue and pink. That was such a straight line. I'm so sorry. I just had to, that was such a straight line. Okay, so then we have for today, we've got white and green. I normally don't like leaving it really last minute. Like I never like to get my flowers on the day of delivery, because I've had this before where I've like come to the florist and there's none of what I need there. So it's a little bit like, so what are we gonna do? So I have two florists I go to. I go to my local florist, which is amazing. They're really good. But if I want something that's a little bit more unusual, that's when I travel a little bit further out. And they have like a good amount of like unusual flowers. So this is the list that I'm gonna work on with. And I will take a photo of this because you always need to take a photo of your shopping list because you're always going to forget your shopping list. So I will take a photo of that. And I'm going to work on the cakes now. So I had a brainwave in the morning, and I always, sorry, these two go hand in hand. I need to just say this. If you're going to do your turntable, it's going to slide everywhere, but these, I don't know why it even says happy birthday, but these are so good. Again, I can link it down below. I always have these on my turntables. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to touch up the top tier. So today's cake is a 3-tiered engraved floral wedding cake. So let me show you actually what I mean by engraved florals. As you can see, the fridge is nice and full. I love seeing a full fridge. But you can see, you can see like it is engraved like here. This is all done in ganache because I love it. I absolutely love ganache. So what I will do, and there's an acrylic plate this time. So I don't love to do all the way around the back because like I will trail it around the back, but I just think it's nicer having all of like the decor around the front. I've done some pipe florals as well, and this is all done. So I want to have this pattern at the top. I've got a bowl of ganache that's already whitened. I do have a video about how I whiten my ganache because I always get questions about it.
So this was a little bit of a fuss, I must say. The plate, the acrylic plate, was actually really heavy. I dialed the cake all correctly, but there was a crack, which you will see later on. So before I even start working on the cracks, I'm actually going in and I'm touching up. This is where I'm just noticing the cracks on the cakes. Ganache is so prone to cracking, but I will let you know. I will let you know how I resolve it. Cracking does stress a lot of people out, but I just feel like I'm so used to it now. So it's the nature of the beast. Now you would see like a little post-it note on top of the cake. I did to just label the cakes and make sure that I am decorating the right flavour for each cake. Now this tier, they went with a raspberry and white chocolate, which is always the most popular flavour for the top tier. My couples always tend to ask me what is like the most popular flavours, and I always recommend like the order of all orders. So I always recommend like a basic bottom tier, a crowd pleaser, something fruity for the middle, and then a top tier can be something a little bit wild and crazy. Now I started doing this hack last wedding season. I felt like I was constantly, that's the right word. I felt like I was constantly finding ganache in the most bizarre places. So what I do is I just get I've already like anti-backed the area, and I'm going in with just a strip of cling film, and it's just a game changer because that way the ganache, I can put down my tools on the cling film and it's just a game changer. I always have like the huge rolls of cling films that I get from, I think eBay. Yes, eBay. So I am in love with like all things saving money and things like that, and just trying to be the best kind of financial steward at times in business, and that's something I can speak about later on. But one thing that was a game changer was cancelling Amazon Prime. I felt like I didn't use it. I personally don't watch Prime Video, but you can really get like the same thing on eBay for a lot cheaper sometimes, so without like paying your delivery over the month, if that makes sense. I'd be so interested to hear if anyone else has done that. I feel like whenever I say, oh yeah, I don't have Prime, people are just like, how do you survive? It was a transition, but you just have to be ordering things way ahead in advance. So I've just noticed that my ganache was a lot thicker than expected. The temperature has really dropped over here in the UK, and it's getting chilly. It's really getting chilly. So I wanted to make sure. So what I did is I just popped my ganache in the microwave for probably like 5 seconds at a time, and it's just nice and smooth, and you can work with it again. There's different textures or like thick consistencies, that's the word, of ganache for different things that you want to work with. So because I actually got a DM, this is really random. Someone DM'd me, are you actually just really tall or is your workstation really low? And I said a bit of both. I'm like, I think I'm 5'7.5", half, I'm not too sure. But I just like working on this side because I just think I can sit down sometimes. Sorry, I say sometimes, I very rarely sit down, but if I'm stenciling, I have to be at eye height. This stencil has me by the chokehold. It's from, I think, Caking It Up. Now, you would see my stencil is like a little bit of an odd shape. I really, really love like cutting down my stencils for the specific part that I need. So I cut away all of like the random butterflies or the random leaves that I don't need. And I love working with stencils. I think stenciling ganache is not for the faint of heart. So what you want to do is you want to work on an incredibly cold cake, and then you want a medium consistency ganache, and I don't think you can see it on here because I'm in focus, but I'm just going in and I'm tidying up. Now, 4-inch cakes are by far the hardest cake to decorate. I personally love decorating like a 6-inch or like an 8-inch. 6-inch is my favorite, but 4 inches, because they're so diddy, like they fly everywhere. Now, these little scrapers are something that are in my kit that I just are non-negotiable. They're from Lizzie Lou. They're actually a dupe of the Magnolia Kitchen like flexi scrapers, but you can get these off Lizzie Lou, or you can get them on Etsy, and I just really, really love them. I'm like constantly using them whenever I'm working with ganache, because ganache is very temperamental. So at this point, I am just doing the finishing touches. Like, genuinely, everything can fall down the pan at this point. If you do any scuffs that just are gonna dent the cake, the time to repair the cake is gonna be a lot slimmer and a lot shorter. So I'm going in very, very, very gently. Now, as you can see, is I'm just doing like the touches of the florals. I did this cake for another couple, this time last year actually, last wedding season, and they fell in love with this cake. This is one of the cakes that I do really enjoy doing because I can kind of get lost in the creativity of it all, and with the florals I really, really do enjoy working with really like different floral details, as you would have seen from my work. Now I'm going in and I'm touching up the cake. Now this had cracks in it, which is really, really normal. Now I find that with ganache, you have to be very, very careful. With cracks, you just want a thicker consistency of ganache. To fill in the cracks, you leave it in for a couple of, like, I would say probably 30 seconds, and then you're going in and then filling it in and then scraping it back. You would have seen I just did like a parchment circle. Now I really just use that for when I am going round with the satin bow, so there's going to be no like stains or anything like that. I have some little pets ordered for this dog is actually for next week, and then I have 2 cats I think for the week after, so I have them made for my couples that are animal lovers. Now this is me working on tomorrow's cake. I'm going in and doing some rice paper sails, which I think are really, really beautiful. Whenever I do wafer paper, I always want to make sure that there are like different elements of like edible, either rice paper or wafer paper, or just to make kind of jazz up a little bit. Now I'm going in and I'm spray painting the leaves. I've got some Italian ruscus, and I've got some bleached ruscus as well, of course. Even though it's dried, I'm also still going to make sure that I'm wrapping in floral tape. Now this is for the rice paper sails. I always like to pin the silicone mats to make sure that they kind of dry in different organic formations. It's been a long day. Forms, is formations the right? I don't know why that reminds me of something completely off topic, but I like to fold them. Now I've headed off to the florist. So I've got my flowers now. Went to the florist. This was £35. I normally just get like a huge amount of different greeneries, different colours. They didn't have like sprays. I normally like to do some spray roses, but I normally have like my bucket. So I walked in, she was like, "Where's your bucket?" They kindly gave me a bucket that I just kind of go take with me. So what I'm going to do now, that car is humongous. Someone's driving a truck.
This is like that type of car where it's like an open back is so normal in the US, but it's like in the UK it's like we all have tiny cars basically. I feel like majority of us have tiny cars in comparison to the US. So I'm gonna drop these home, get them in water, and then take out the ones I need for today. The florist is so good to me, like they are incredible, they're so good. And I'm going to drive up to Hedosr House. There's actually train strikes in the UK right now, or in London, sorry. So there's more people on the road than normal, so I need to make sure that I'm going with enough time. Now, flowers are really controversial when it comes to adding flowers to the cakes. I've spoken to florists that actually bleach the flowers. I've spoken to florists that use a whole load of very harmful chemicals. I will do a video on adding flowers to cakes, but you want to be incredibly careful when it comes to adding flowers with cakes. Now, as you would see, I'm just popping it in some warm water to kind of loosen up the petals a bit more, and hopefully this is going to make sure the flowers are opening a bit quicker. And I am just making sure that I have a spare kit of ganache, because it is so important to have some just in case. You're going to see I pack a lot of things just in case, because you just don't know what could happen just before you set up the wedding. Okay, so I am just getting ready to leave, and I wanted to show you what's in my toolkit. I have videos about this, but it's always really helpful to kind of see what people have. So let me get my ganache out the way, and you can see what's in my toolkit, because I feel like this has saved me so many times. So let me show you my flowers. I actually got this tin from my florist. They're amazing. They gave me this literally for free, because I have normally vases like this, and they're just a bit too short and it just goes everywhere in my car, and I just don't want that. So I keep like a good amount of water in, and they're going with a white and green for today. Then I have my go-to like crate. I literally have this crate. These are the original ones actually. I got them ages ago online. I think they're from, I can't remember where they're from. Well, I always get asked. Icasa, I think, I'm not too sure. Okay, so camping bin, really helpful to just put all of like the green waste in. I have spare ganache just in case, because whenever you have like a scuff or whenever you have a dent in the cake, you want to make sure that you've topped it up. So I always take more than I actually need. And then I've got my toolkit. I need to get another one of these because there's a crack in them, but I love them. They're really great. They're from Hobbycraft. So I've got my satin bow. Whenever I use satin, I actually, as I've already said before, I normally put some parchment paper so there's no like oil residue. As I said, I've got a video of me kind of unpacking this over my shorts, and these are the best scissors. I will try my best to link them down below. They are incredible. They're just so nice and sharp. They're wonderful. I love them. They're so good. They're literally the best florist scissors ever. I was at a wedding and I left all my kit in the car. I was at Corinthia, London. If you know that place, it's beautiful, incredible hotel, but there is no parking at all. So I left all my kit in the car and then spare ganache in a piping bag, because whenever I go around the edges, I want to make sure that it's from a piping bag. It's just so much easier to do. And then anti-bac wipes. Now I'm back with doing the prep. Now this is a very important part. Let's talk about boxes. I think boxes are so important. I actually use Box Secure. You can find them over on Instagram, and I've got a code Abigail10. But even before I was a brand ambassador, I bought from them for a very long time. Now this is a 3-tier cake, as you would see here. I've got other tiers. Remember, this is for the cake that is tomorrow. And what I love about these boxes is they are so sturdy. They are corrugated cardboard, but a really great fit quality. Now I've changed. I will speak about uniform if you want me to, but I do have a uniform. It's normally dark colours, either a black or a navy, because that way you don't look like a guest, and also you do want to make sure that you're not too casual. I feel like if you're in black, most of the time people think that you are a part of the venue or the events team, which works in so handy.
Now here's my car all set up and the drive to Hedsor House.
I have just arrived and the craziest thunder just happened. So I'm gonna get in really quickly. I've just arrived. I think this is a little bit of an overlap with the guests, which is absolutely not a problem because they're going into another place. As I'm setting up, you can probably see the guests in the background. I'm gonna take all my flowers with me and where are we? I'm gonna take my flowers. Thank God they didn't tip over. It's literally just started raining. Woo! Let's go, it's crunch time now. Okay, so I must say, sorry, it feels like reporting live, but I'm just unloading the car in the rain. There's no step-free access. They're literally getting married in here right now. So unloading the car, this is very chaotic because the guests are literally there and there's no step-free access. But we're getting there, we're getting there.
So this is super rare. Do I ever get to see the bride just moments before she's about to walk down the aisle? It was so sweet because she was like, "Hi, Abigail," as she was going down the stairs, and it was very, very precious moment. Now this is the staircase that Hedosr House is known for. It actually was like a gold staircase, but they've changed it to like a hand-painted staircase, which I prefer so much better because it was not going to clash with the cake. They had like this really bold wallpaper before. Now you would have seen that I packed in some parchment paper. I actually normally use the parchment paper to stack the cake so there's going to be no like fingerprints or dents. Just before I start to set up the cake, I have a little bin and I wipe my hands and sanitize my hands to make sure it's all safe and clean. Now you would see here the cake is a little bit on the wonk, which is not a problem because I'm going to go in and sort it out. By the end of the time that I finish setting up the cake, you'll be able to see that it's completely restored. When you're making the cake, you're obviously making it in separate tiers as you go. And then when you put it together, that's like the real test. And what I love to do is I continuously step back and forth, just so I can see it from different angles. Normally, as you would have known, I'm always carrying extra ganache. So I just put in some more ganache to make it a little bit more level, and you can see that's completely back to how it should be. As I said, you're making the cake in different tiers, so it's always really important to, when you stack it up, to make sure it looks perfect from all angles. Now I'm going in with the fresh flowers that are all completely safe. Now you will see a little bit later on, but they've gone with faux flowers, but I went with fresh flowers to match the color scheme. And this is the stunning room, and this is the cake all set up, and I am so happy with it. She kind of pieced loads of different ideas from different cakes that I've done, and their cocktail bar looked stellar, absolutely stellar. Everything matched so perfectly. Okay, I'm all done with the wedding. Everything has been set up. As you can see, it is pouring down with rain, so they were taking group photos outside, but now they've moved inside. I'm also going to see if I can show you guys my favorite part of Hedosr House, because it is so cute. I traveled to Lake District to see this thing. Little did I know that they were in Buckinghamshire. So all done with the wedding cake. I got to see the couple. They looked beautiful. Did I accidentally walk in on them signing the registry? Yes, I did. Did not know that it was in that room. I was trying to drop them their box for the cake tiers and also for their cake box. I try and, if ever they ask, I just give them for free, the cake boxes, so they can take some cake home. And I'm going to drive home. As I probably would have mentioned 5 million times in this video, there is a tube strike, so everyone is on the road today. So I'm going to head home. Normally it's like an hour, but it's going to be taking like an hour and a half, and also it is rush hour. So I'm going to head home and work on tomorrow's cake. But thank you so much for coming along with me for the wedding of the beautiful couple who got married at Hedosr House. I will also leave all of like the other vendors down in the description below, because this was a beautiful wedding team, and I also always work with this team quite often. So I'm gonna head home now. It's starting to rain really badly, so I'm gonna head home and I'll see you guys the next one. Bye.